We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for the virtual coffee connection. And um, this one is going to be one that's going to be life changing for you. It can double, triple your income if you want to double or triple your income. Katrina, do you want to double or triple your income?
Yeah.
Nora, can you translate that for me?
Um, I think yes, maybe not sure that it's possible, but I
Okay.
think the answer is yes.
Okay. So, um, and so in the five levels of want, people say, I want, like, what's your wow income goal? And it's like, okay, this is what my wow income goal is. Okay. And um, so this is what I want to earn. But what they're really saying is most people are saying, I want to earn that, but I want to earn that money, but I don't want to do the work and make the sacrifice and take the risk. So that's a level one. So if you want to earn, you know, you know, whatever that number is for you, a low level, if you have low level of work, sacrifice, and risk, then you can earn low amount of income. The higher the income you want to earn, the more work, sacrifice, and risk you got to take. Level two is I want it if there's a little work required. Level three is I want it if hard work is required. Level four is I want it and I'm willing to do the work, make the sacrifice, and take the risk. And level five is I want it and will have it regardless of what is required, i.e., my life vision, my why. Like, this is what I was put on this planet to do. So most people think they work really hard. And so they think they do. And so because they compare themselves to people around them. So when we compare ourselves to ourselves or compare ourselves to people around us, we often end up thinking more of ourselves than what we are. Nora, what would you like to accomplish today?
When so I'm working with someone that is looking at increasing sales, like doubling sales monthly, but will also then need to hire someone if, work picks up that much. Like what's the best way to like do both at the same time and have it, flow nicely? Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
yeah, absolutely. So you go ahead and you go ahead and do marketing and then pre-sales and then sales. And so you go ahead and grow all of these. You get all of these larger. So they're all larger. And then you got to have somebody to take care of the business. You got to have, people. Well, fortunately, the 530 grid also can be used for recruiting. And so, it can be used for recruiting. And so what you do is you have a recruiting system that goes, so you're doing both simultaneously. And so that's not easy. The amount of knowledge it takes is substantial. The amount of work it takes is substantial. The amount of focus it takes is substantial. The amount of sacrifice it takes is substantial. And so if you go ahead and have all of the marketing, pre-sales, and the sales increasing, and is it Marlon that's on or somebody else on the 260?
Marlene,
Marlene.
this
Hey,
is
Marlene.
Marlene.
How are
Hey.
you?
Oh, good.
Good, good, good to have you on. Good to have you on. And so when we go ahead and um, have we've got to have all these pipes at the same size. And so what you do is you set up the recruiting. Questions? Anyone? Does that help, Nora?
Yeah, it does.
And so most people, like, there's strength and stamina. What's the difference between strength and stamina?
Not sure.
So strength is like in weightlifting, if you can bench press, I don't know, 250 pounds, that's strength. Stamina, how many reps can you do? Can you just bench it once? Can you bench it 10 times, 20 times, like 40 times? Like you can run a mile. Okay, that's strength. Can you run a marathon? That's stamina. And so what the 530 grid gives us the ability to do is the 530 grid gives us the ability to have a map so we're not all over the place, so we can go through it. So Marlene, did you have any questions, anything you wanted to accomplish today?
Yeah, I'd like to just get some stuff done. But
No,
yeah,
in the coffee connection in the virtual here, was there something you'd like to accomplish today, right here in this cast, this call?
oh, I'd like to uh, accomplish just what you were talking about: more sales, more. Uh,
Right. So what we can do is we can talk about we can use the EVA for an example. And so in EVA certification, I went in this morning with Katrina and I reordered these. So you go to reorder and you can reorder these. And so, so here you go ahead and, so one of the things that, is heavily taught in EVA and VA training, or EVA and LP training, is always make sure you're doing the highest dollar productive activity. Somebody else could do this other than me. But,
yeah,
and so if I'm doing this, then I'm not doing something else. And
right.
so in psychology, in how people think, we hear what we want to hear and we don't hear what we don't want to hear. And what we're not hearing is probably what's going to make us our wow income goal. So a good example is, I shared with two salespeople, like they had somebody who said they weren't interested. And the two salespeople, they went ahead and said, okay, they're not interested. I told these two salespeople that you ought to call them back and say, hey, not a problem. You don't have to move forward on the action vision. It's okay. But Mark had some thoughts on the business x-ray that he wanted to share with you to make sure you're getting the most out of the business x-ray. So, but what did these two salespeople, what did both of them do?
So,
Isn't it interesting
what?
that Marlene's the one that's responding to that? Like, does she know what salespeople do? And so they didn't do anything. Why? Because they're double analytic. So they don't want to hear
Well,
that. They don't want to hear. You mean you got to fight for business? You mean you got to work for it? You mean you got to go in and you got to get it? So that
exactly.
yeah,
So you don't just walk away. You
right,
go back again and
right,
again and
and
again.
again, right. See, Marlene, she understands it, but these two salespeople, they didn't, because they heard what they wanted to hear. And then they wonder, why am I not making more money? Because you're not listening. You're not
Um,
listening to the integrity of the system, because you're not locking your double analytic in the closet. You're hearing what you want to hear, and that's why you're earning what you're earning. And so That's what's happening. And so they, so in here, and then on the leads, it's like when you go ahead and, so another salesperson is like, what am I supposed to do after the business x-ray? Well, they were told by one person that you wait a week to call. They were told by another, well, it depends. You can call them the next day. You can call them the next day and you can go ahead and say, hey, you did a great job. I know there's lots of questions. I just wanted to follow up and see if you had any questions. So you call them the next day. You can call them in an hour if you want to. Say, hey, did you have any questions? Like, yeah. So Marlene, she's laughing. Why? Because she knows sales. That's what it takes to be successful in sales. Like how often should you call them? As often as you can bring them value. But,
yeah, you just bump your head against the wall and just
right.
Come on.
Right. So they people hear what they want to hear and they don't. It's called selective hearing. And it's based on personalities. And so they wonder why they're not making more money. They wonder why they're not converting, more, because they're hearing what they want to hear and they don't understand. That's going to go ahead and kill you in sales. You're not going to earn the income you're going to earn. You don't want to be a princess. You don't want to sit back and wait for people to pursue you. No, you have to go ahead and go after. If you have big goals, you have to pursue them relentlessly. It's hard work, it's sacrifice, and it's risk. Right. Katrina, what would you like to accomplish today?
Well, just what you have to say about Becky, I guess. Learn more about that.
So Becky is before, after, consistent, exciting, and enlarging. So before, like this coffee connection, like Marlene could go ahead and generate a lot of business for her newspaper or for her magazine, because she could have all of her advertisers, which is, I don't know, 75, 90%, I think they were said, 90% of them are women. And so she could invite all of them in here and I would explain the science behind why they need to advertise, and I'll do the selling for her right here. It's not hard. It's not brain surgery. It's not rocket science. I'll do it right here. So, but she's got to get the people here. So before, she has to come up with a compelling message.
Yeah.
So she has to come up with a compelling message. Why is she going to be here? So that's box one, identify targets. Okay, who are the targets? She wants to get her current advertisers to join. This is something of added benefit. They don't have to pay anything more. And so this is something added benefit. When you go ahead, we're going to teach you how to go ahead and turn your advertising dollars into more money, some type of a message. So she goes ahead and gets that out, drives them in to this podcast. Then she's got to go ahead and then we have to track all the leads. So before an event, you have to promote the event. After the event, you have to go ahead and do this. So is anybody going to backy this meeting?
Are you talking to me?
Probably not. Probably nobody will. Now, Amy, she's not here. Her daughters aren't here. Her daughters aren't early morning people, which is fine. That's fine. But is she going to get this? Is she going to go and say, dang, I can't miss one, even for a grandbaby? Like, I'm going to make sure if I'm not here, I'm listening to this. Is anybody going to get this over to Amy and say, Amy, my gracious girl, you got to listen. Mark's on fire. Is anybody going to do that? Probably not. And then what about all the past people that showed up that aren't here now? Are they going to go ahead? Is anybody going to care about them? Probably not. See, we want people to care about us. We just don't want to care about other people. That's how it is. And we want to delude ourselves and deceive ourselves into thinking I'm a caring person, but we're really not. We're really not. We don't care, which is okay. Just know WIFM. So then it's consistent. It's got to be every week. It can't be up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down. Sometimes I do it. I do it for a few weeks, and then I stop doing it because I didn't get results. You didn't get results because you're not consistent. You didn't get results because you don't have a compelling message. You didn't get results because you didn't pick up phone and you didn't go ahead and connect the dots for people because you don't know how to connect dots. How are other people? Well, so you got to connect their dots to their biggest challenge, what they love helping. They want to get their lower the number of hours. They want to change about themselves. They want to get to their wow income goal. They want to do these things. They want to do this. So then it's got to be exciting, dramatic. That's why, see, that's why TikTok works. That's why, all this stuff like Mark's on fire, like, holy cow. Like, why? Because it matters what I'm saying. If people want to make more money, I know how to do it, but they got to do the work. Really, Mark, can't you just do all the work for me? You're not my wife. You're not my little children. You're not my little grandchildren. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. You're going to have to do it. So it's got to be exciting. And then it's got to be enlarging. You got to go ahead, enlarge, like you're looking to expand the group. Like you got to get the group expanded.
Mm-hmm.
So Backy is beautiful, Katrina. It's just absolutely this is what will grow a company. It's what will grow a group, whether it's a coffee connection. But see, the little red hen story, or what did you call it, Katrina?
Yeah, I just said I wasn't sure like what we called it, but I just said not I story.
The not I story. Nora, Marlene, do you know what the not I story is, or the little red hen?
Yeah.
I know the little red hen, but not the nut eye.
Okay. Both the same. They're both the same. So the little red hen, well, I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to plant. Do you want to help plant? No. See, nobody wants to do the work. John Henderson, one of my friends and mentor years ago, he said, when I was in my 30s, he said, Mark, you're very unusual. I'm like, okay, why is that? He says, you have a crazy big vision. I'm like, okay. And he says, and you're willing to get in the trenches and get your fingers dirty. He said, most people that get their fingers dirty, they don't have a big vision. Most people that have a big vision, they don't get their fingers dirty. He said, you're willing to do both.
Yeah.
And so, like this, and so this is going to probably be put in one of the training, but there's a lot here. And so Katrina is the keeper of the training. So she's going to know this intimately. Like a mother knows a baby. If a baby's got a cold, or if a baby's got toothache, or if they're teething, or if they're, something else, like they know, a mother knows the child intimately. And so that's what Katrina's going to know about this system. So going back, Nora, to your question, it's like the Backy for hiring people, but when you onboard them, you have to onboard them in a very specific way. And I have really smart people I work with. They're amazing, but they struggle with some of the simplest things of listening. They just don't know how to listen so well. They're hard workers compared to their peers. Compared to me, maybe not so much. But if they're nice and kind to me, like Kevin is, then I don't mind taking my 30, 40 years of experience and I'll do a bulk of the lifting because it's just fun to do. And I'll help them. I'll help them do crazy, amazing things because they're thankful, they're appreciative, they're humble, they're not locked.
Mm-hmm.
See, Marlene, you can just tell her heart. She's got a heart that's similar to Mark. She's like, I've been through this too. Like, as you get older, you see all of the work and all the sacrifice and all of the risks that you've taken, and you see how you can bless other people, and you want to bless other people, but they've got to do some level of work, and they need to be thankful and grateful. Does that help, Katrina?
Yeah, it does.
Nice. Good work. Nora, what you got?
I don't think I had anything else besides the
So
sales and hiring.
It's like when Tom Kuntz went ahead and saw the 530 grid for the very first time. He's like, "Oh my goodness, Mark." Like I could tell in his voice, and he's like, "I've never seen anything like this." I said, "Right?" And he said, "I don't think you understand what you have here." I said, "I think I do, but I'm open. What do you think that we've got here?" He's like, "You have the holy grail for business. It's like the DNA for business." He's the one that gave it that name. Tom did. The first time he saw it, it had been out for a few years, but he saw it and he knew. He could feel the energy of it because it's organized, it's structured, it's methodical. And then I started to explain it to him, and I said, "This is what it does." He says, "That's crazy." And so when you're building your systems to grow your business, you're not only building your systems to grow your customer base, but you're growing your business to grow the people base, the employees, because you have to have both. I mean, when you bring down business to the lowest, simplest level, it's customers and people who are doing the work to service the customers. It's those two things. That's what it is. And you have to have those two in alignment. If you have more customers than you have people to support them, that's not good. If you have more people to support them than you have customers, that's not good. Those have to be in alignment. And that's what Action Vision coaching is all about. And in my experience, like there's millions and millions of dollars invested into Action Vision. There's decades of work that has been put into it and wisdom. And so if somebody doesn't have an Action Vision plan, if they don't go ahead and have coaching, they're probably not going to change much. People are creatures of habits. And so they're going to revert back to, where they're at, doing the things that they do, what feels comfortable. And then eventually they give up on their goals. They go for whatever was accepted. Marlene, anything else you have?
No, it makes so much sense that it makes me want to go out and see some people.
Right? That's what I'm saying, girl. And what you do.
You got to listen to this. I mean,
right?
that's
what I'm saying. And what you do is you go ahead, the way you sell people on it, because people are naturally cynical. Like Ratatouille, the movie, it's like people are cynical. They're just cynical. They just think everybody's selling because that's all they're doing. Everybody wants something because that's what they want. They don't see their own heart. And so you ask them, like, I'm just curious, like all the advertisers, potential advertisers, current advertisers, all of them, you just say, I'm just curious, like, what would you say your biggest challenge is? And they will share it with you. And you say, that's interesting. Tell me more. And they'll tell you more. And then you go ahead and say, I join a part of this podcast on Thursday mornings at 6:30. It's a half an hour podcast. And I mean, the guy is strange that leads up this, but man, he is on fire. He owns 9 companies. He's got 7 kids, 12 grandkids. He has an extra 20 to 30 hours of free time a week. He doesn't have to work, but he loves business. He just absolutely loves business. It's part of his life vision, why God created him. And this guy, he will go ahead and blow your mind. And I think, and then you repeat back the biggest challenge. You say your biggest challenge is this. I think he's going to have some insight. Here's the information on how to join, the podcast.
I've got a lot of your booklets I want to pass out. Just look at this. That's what happened to me. My niece, I told her I just need some insight. I'm stuck, and she said, "Well, there's this coffee connection once a month." And I said, "So how much do they charge? She said, it's nothing. Just go and listen. I don't know if she's even been there, but I'm going to ask her why she hasn't gone and
this one here,
back.
This one here, you just call in. It's a half an hour. It's once a week. And if you can't participate, you can get it on the internet through a podcast, through the Life GPS mobile app. And so you can participate, you can listen to these things. And it's crazy. It's not just the knowledge and the wisdom, but it's the tools and it's the systems. And then it's the energy and the passion. It's like, like chill out, Mark. Nobody's going to die. But in Mark's world, like businesses die all the time because their business owners don't understand. They've never been trained. And I have 3 college degrees in business. They didn't train me in this stuff. I mean, just a little smidgen, not really any of this stuff. And so nobody's training the business owner on how to go ahead. You have to do these things. If you don't do these things, you're either going to go out of business or you're not going to make money or you're owning a job, not a company. And so,
right.
So when so it's so awesome. I'm so excited for Marlene and, for you and your team and all of your advertisers and all of your subscribers. Like it's going to be, I would bet that probably 80 to 90% of your subscribers either want to own a company or have a side gig or something. And this will work. Tom, when he said it, he says, Mark, I don't think you understand. I said, well, what is it? He says, this is like the holy grail. It'll work for a boy with a lemonade stand or a $1 trillion company. I'm like, right? But it takes hard work. It's not a get rich quick. It's not network marketing. It's hard work. But you trust as Tom Kuhn said, most recent past president of Century 21, largest real estate franchise in the world. It's like trust the integrity of the system. And what I just discovered in the last couple of weeks is that if you don't trust the integrity of the system, you will not gain the benefit of the system. You can't go ahead and say, well, I'm going to game the system and I'm going to go ahead and gain the benefit without trusting. No, you can't do that. That's not how it works. It's like the law. It's a natural law, like the law of gravity. So if you have any questions on this one, you're like, boy, I'd really like to know more information. You can just join us on Thursdays at 6:30 Eastern time. Just go to www.ravingfan, ravingfan.net. That's ravingfan.net. And you can join us there. There'll be somewhere where you can click on to get a personality assessment. You want to go in and do that. You have any questions on anything we covered today, connect with the individual who invited you to participate in today's session, or you can call toll free 888-230-2300, outside the U.S. 630-393-9909. And always remember, we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.